What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another Angle of Pursuit podcast. Today we are talking all things Kansas 2. We will talk DraftKings. We will talk our betting cards. We will update you on where we're at with everything now in the books. Where is the lines gone? Where can we still find value? And let's win some money this week.
Ross Chastain used the wall all the way around this racetrack.
Logano has been the class of the field.
Check out the big brain on grass.
Yeah, I need to change my underwear.
Brian Twining, we are recording this late Saturday evening after a pretty glorious day of college football, I will say. Obviously, a wide range of outcomes. The Texas is back.
Are they?
Or
is Alabama?
No, I think Texas is very good. I think Bama has some stuff to work on both sides of the ball, and I think they'll be kind of annoying for Georgia down the stretch. But I think Texas is very, very legit. Both your Michigan Wolverines and my Ohio State Buckeyes looked better today, so that was nice to see. Colorado, yeah, the line movement went from Nebraska -8 on the look-ahead line to Colorado -2.5, -3. That was cakewalk for anyone who was there. Shouts to YouTube TV for the quad box. It's kind of annoying that I can't pick my own games, but I'm not going to complain when I can literally have like 8 games going at one time and not miss a thing. But we're not here to talk college football. We're not even, we got all day NFL tomorrow as well. Week 1 can't get back soon enough, and here it is. But we are here to talk NASCAR, my man. We are going to Kansas for the second time. We got qualifying in the books. We know where everyone's starting. We're going to look at some DraftKings. We're going to try and build some winners. And then we'll look at our betting card, figure out where potential value is, and see if we can hammer on some winners. As always, if you are enjoying our content, if you are here each and every week, please consider subscribing. It really does nothing to you except for get you our content as soon as it is available. It does a whole hell of a lot for us, so we would really appreciate it if you could click that button. Make sure you are checking out Chris Wormy's pre-race poll. It'll be interesting to see how that fits in. That might be like a phone thing while I'm watching an NFL game.
I'm just gonna be in the battle station again tomorrow with.
Yeah, I saw your setup. It's pretty sick. I'm pretty envious. I wish there was a way I could set up my computer up so I could kind of have my TVs in front of me so I could do the whole thing. But I think I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do tomorrow. We'll see. And then also check out the NASCAR betting preview show. Derek Yoder's putting out some incredible content each and every day, pretty much, it seems like. So
yes,
whether it's Xfinity trucks, obviously Cup cars, make sure you're checking that out. Links are always in the description. But before we get into everything, Brian, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great, man. Like you said, it was a fantastic day of college football. The wife had a little excursion with her girlfriend, so I was shucks. I was stuck at home working.
Yes, you just got to stay at home and watch football and take one for the team.
Horrible. Yeah, it was just the horrendous day of watching college football, making a ton of bets. Obviously trying to build that bankroll for tomorrow's race. Like, I love Kansas. I talked about this earlier in the week. I was pretty upset at Ty Gibbs when he got into the wall. He got the right rear flat and then wound up taking his car out of qualifying because he was extremely fast in Group B. Like, he was right there. I mean, obviously probably not up to par with Kyle Larson, but yeah, like I felt really good about that value on there. So I'm excited to dive into this card. I know that the books are taking a ridiculously long time to repost numbers.
As we talked about with Todd Furman, we know where where we sit in the pecking order. They're going to get us odds when they feel like they can. They're much more worried about live lines for college football and all that stuff. But let's do what we always do, Brian. Let's dive into DraftKings. Let's talk through it because I think there's some interesting thoughts to get through. I think there's some interesting decisions to get into this week, and let's see what we can do from a DraftKings lineup perspective. So I have The odds up here. So we'll go through 10K. So we have Denny Hamlin starting 14th at 11. Once again, the most expensive driver. Then you have Truex starting third, Kyle Larson starting second, William Byron starting ninth, and Christopher Bell put it on pole. I guess we got we got three dominator options. We got Hamlin and Byron, who are kind of mid-pack guys. Where's your head at for this week and kind of potential how that could pan out?
Well, so first of all, I think the most important aspect of this range is that William Byron is going to the rear.
Oh yeah, it's a good call.
After having to like make a part change. He just wanted to see what his speed was after making that change. He was one of the best cars during practice. So, I look, it's always difficult to put somebody in your lineup that has a starting position inside the top 10, but is actually starting from the rear because you're basically starting at negative place differential and negative points for the day. But if anybody can maneuver his way up to the front just by strategy, it's Willie B. And then no surprise, Christopher Bell was really fast, put it on the pole, but like, how can you trust them after what we saw last week?
I have breaking news. William Byron actually will not have to drop to the rear. After conferring with the team and evaluating the part, NASCAR determined it's not a team issue. It was an issue with the part. He is starting ninth officially tomorrow.
Hell yeah. All right. In that case, William Byron, boom, best in the 10K range.
100%. Starting ninth, he could absolutely get to the front quickly. Sure. He can dominate this race through stage 2 and stage 3. We love him at 1.5 mile tracks. Incredible value. Very interesting. I think Larson is also very interesting. Same reasons. Hendrick at 1.5 miles.
They're ridiculous. Yeah.
Get to the front very quickly and dominate the majority of the day. And then in overtime, Byron will steal the win. So, I think there's a lot to get. I mean, Truex obviously has been incredible. I think makes a lot of sense. Danny's been good. I know he didn't qualify as well as we expect, but
so that was what I wanted to just hit on real quick, is that Denny came into the week as like the co-favorite for this race and then was just kind of meh.
Yeah.
During practice and qualifying, whereas Martin Truex Jr., who has kind of struggled the last 2 weeks, I guess, on race day, refound that speed. And we all know what Truex can do when he's up front. He can stay up there as good as anybody. So, I honestly have a hard time getting to Truex starting third because I think Denny obviously is the better value with the placement potential. But I mean, if Truex is going to have this type of speed in his car, he's probably going to be up front for the majority of the day.
I'm really curious to see where people land too, because there's obviously, you can make compelling conversations for a majority of these guys. Obviously, Truex, we were really excited about coming in, makes a ton of sense. Larson, Byron have both been dominant at 1.5 miles. You could really be, there's a variety of ways to go, and I think figuring out the early dominator will be one of the keys to finding success tomorrow.
And something else, I tweeted it out earlier today. It's something like 8 of the last 10 winners, it's 8 of the last 10 winners at Kansas all started or had official starting positions inside the top 10. And then I think it's only 1 of the last 15 winners at this track had an official start position worse than 13th. So, I mean, when you're looking for somebody who's potentially going to win here, that kind of whittles the field down to a select number of guys. And even amongst that group, you can kind of throw certain drivers out just based on track history or, long run speed that we saw in practice.
I did want to throw this nugget out. I think it will be in play when we update our betting card later. Christopher Bell has won the pole 4 times this year. His average finish in those races is 24.25. So he's basically, in his best finish was at Michigan, where he got 13th. So tread lightly with old C Bell. He looks fast in practice, but the guy has had issues finishing races.
I will say, after the first debacle on pit road last week with the supposed new and improved pit crew, they did perform pretty well.
Mhm.
So, if they can keep it together this week, having that pit stall selection, which we've seen it numerous times this year, plays a major factor in getting out before guys. He could compete, but just with what we've seen, I have a hard time backing him.
Yep. 9K, Tyler Reddick starting fifth. Obviously, 2311 has looked very good at Kansas. No, no surprise to see him there. Kyle Busch, 35th. Kevin Harvick, 20th. Both make a lot of sense as back markers that can move forward. Obviously, 2311 again with Bubba, both in the top 10.
Yep.
And our old Ross Chastain found a way to get sixth. He was fast. He's terrifying, but as a more affordable potential early dominator, with if you truly believe, there won't be a lot of people there with you, and if you hit on a Ross Chastain win, you could have a really nice day, both on DraftKings and at the betting window.
Yeah, like he definitely surprised me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people with the speed he showed in qualifying, because practice he kind of showed what we had expected, where he was just kind of blah, and goes out there and throws down what would have been the fastest lap on the day until Christopher Bell topped that, and then he couldn't replicate that lap on the final qualifying run. So it'll be interesting to see if he brings any sort of long run speed, because in terms of practice, he didn't really perform all that well.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because this is obviously not a team that qualifies very well, but when they do, they seem to have some good speed.
Yeah.
Curious to see if it was more of a setup issue and then they can figure it out for tomorrow. Um,
Well, because like Chastain didn't even run a 10 lap segment
yeah,
in
and
practice.
Suarez did. Suarez ran 20 laps and was 10th, 9th, 5th and 5th and 15 and 20. So maybe they're using Suarez to kind of figure out some long run stuff and then set up
You know,
Chastain's.
right on that point that we talked about, where like they basically don't care about what Suarez does anymore. It's everything
Mhm.
is about trying to figure out what Chastain can do. That's a good
Yeah, I
point.
think for the playoff drivers, especially if their teammates are not playoff drivers, it's a interesting way to kind of have your cake and eat it too. 8K, we got some interesting names. We start with Joey Logano starting 11th, obviously mile and a half warrior. Hasn't shown the speed, especially as of late, so that's interesting to get to. Christopher Buescher, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, and Chase Elliott finished qualified fourth. Was decently fast in practice. Obviously, he is not in the playoffs, but Hendrick's going for the owners championship. Elliott's just had a season from hell, so finishing the season strong and maybe even getting a win would
Yeah.
be a great kind of clear the mind, get ready for 2024. And I feel like he's going to be an incredibly popular bet for the championship next year.
Yeah, no, and as far as Elliott goes, this is his best qualifying effort at Kansas in the next gen car. So, he's never had great speed here. Come Friday or Saturday, whenever the hell they did practice and qualifying, and Sundays, he's able to maneuver through the field, and he has 11th and 7th place finishes the last two times here. So it'll be interesting to see if he can maintain that position with so many guys that we expect to be extremely strong starting behind him, like a Bubba Wallace, like a Denny Hamlin, like a William Byron, for instance. I mean, Ken Elliott, who's not in the playoffs, but in the championship or in the owners championship, is he going to be able to stay up front?
And is it going to be something where maybe he gets in place to push Larson or push Byron to the
Oh, he's
front?
definitely going to be a blocker for sure.
So it might be a situation where he actually is a little bit safer as like a top 5, top 10 option than maybe in the past where he's really going for the win and maybe crashing out. He's going to try and be in position to help his teammate win, but like you said, be a blocker and, just have a solid day. So maybe from a DraftKings perspective doesn't make a lot of sense, but as we flip over and talk betting may be a little more interesting. The 7K range is interesting. Obviously, Alex Bowman starting 23rd, the lowest of all the Hendrick guys. Ty Gibbs, as you mentioned, looked great in practice and just had an issue in qualifying. So 7,600 starting 36 could be very popular, but might be for a reason. Daniel Suarez, Ricky Stenhouse, Michael McDowell, and Eric Jones round out the 7K. I guess, are you in on Gibbs at his price? And then beyond him, who else do you like?
Gibbs is my favorite DK bet. He's probably my favorite driver this weekend from a value perspective. I had him on the poll. I had bet his top 10 over at Bovada at plus 180 before this was like Wednesday or whenever the odds first dropped.
Yeah.
Prior to practice and qualifying this morning, I saw it as short as even money at like Caesars, I believe it was. So, I mean, clearly people saw the speed, or they had anticipated the speed to come with this car, and he unloaded fast. Like I said, he had the second fastest single lap speed in his group during practice before he got the flat, and then hit the wall, therefore ruining his ability to even qualify, which is why he's starting in the back with a backup car. But that doesn't change my optimism on the type of speed that this team is going to bring here.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think he makes some sense. Eric Jones is interesting to me. I don't know what to do with him because he's a guy like with the Michigan corollary that's kind of interesting.
He's always somebody we've liked at like high speed tracks, whether it's 1.5s or super speedways. He always kind of is everyone is attracted to him at these types of races.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because he was fast in 5 lap, but once he got to 10 lap, he tanked. So I don't know if they were trying something. I also just what the vehicle he's in. I'm always a little concerned just because he's not getting the support that a lot of other elite drivers are getting. So I do worry about that a little bit. But he is somebody who kind of tickles my interest if you want to venture. And honestly, Ricky Stenhouse was good in practice. He's a mid-pack guy. I know he's terrifying, but there was a good run of like top 10s for him in like the first third of the season, where Kansas is a lot more like what we saw early in the year. Maybe there's a decent run in there for him.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have a hard time going to Spinhouse. I just think that he needs a lot to happen to get up there. So I worry. I don't know. He's starting a little bit too high for me, I guess I'll say.
And he was 22nd at Vegas, 23rd at Kansas, and 25th at Michigan. He was 9th at Charlotte, but yeah, he's probably an avoid. I was trying to talk myself into maybe someone that's a little bit off the radar to see if I could find value, but I don't know that it's worth it at that point.
Yeah, and then McDowell for me is like a complete fade at starting 7th. Yeah.
6K, Austin Dillon, Eric Almirola, Chase Briscoe, AJ Allmendinger, Carson Hocevar, Austin Cindric, Ryan Preece, and Sheldon Creed. I guess if you're looking at the 6K range, is there somebody that's tickling your fancy?
Chase Briscoe had the top 10-lap average in practice of all the Fords. So I don't know, how much of that is
top Ford at like 300 to 1.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that doesn't mean that he's going to be good on Sunday, but clearly, maybe they have something for long run speed or shorter long run speed, I guess you could say. I don't know. I'm not high on any of the SHR guys. I think I love Carson Hocevar, but again, he's in that position where I would prefer him to be probably in the low 20s or like on the back half of the 20s to put him in a lineup, hoping he gets a top 20 finish. Yeah. Where he is right now, the expectation is probably like a 17th or an 18th, and he's not going to be throwing down fast laps either.
Yeah, yeah. I just once again the vehicle he's in. I'm not optimistic that he can.
He's a good
Push it.
driver, man. Don't get me wrong. Like,
No, I'd like to see him in a legit ride next year, but the seats are kind of becoming less and less as we
yeah,
approach the end of the year. The rest of the field: Justin Haley, Corey LaJoy, Harrison Burton, Todd Gilliland, Cole Custer, JJ Yaley, and Ty Dillon. If you are scraping the bottom of the barrel, is there anyone that you're like, you know what? I don't hate it.
I mean, Harrison Burton, like, we liked him last week and then he got wrecked.
Yeah.
He's not great here, but I mean, the car has shown better of late. Starting 29th, he's only 7 spots from the very far back. I mean, if he can get a top 20 at 5,400, that's
Yeah.
way better value than going to Hocevar, who's $1,000 more and is starting 8 spots ahead of him.
And he's locked into a ride for next year, so that's good for him mentally. He doesn't have to worry about that. I always lean on Justin Haley. He's always interesting, especially at mile and a halves. I like him in Vegas. Really, really affordable. Let's see. 15th at Vegas. 19th at Charlotte. Like he's like a ton of a top 20, like a 15 to 20 guy. He could be interesting enough. Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah, the whole bottom part. Like, I think Gilliland, I think he's intriguing because of where he's starting and only 5,200. But again, like, just the equipment and
Yeah. All right, let's build the lineup. And I will give you the tee, and I will let you decide who goes in this lineup very first.
Tyler Reddick.
Oh, I did not see that coming, but I don't hate it.
That little SOB is he's got to find a win at one of these tracks. Like,
Does he? Does he have to?
he's so close. Oh, by the way, USC already scored their 28-0 with 13 minutes to go in the first half. Easy money, thank you.
Yeah. Let's see here. So Bubba's compelling, but can I do Kyle Larson? I don't know that I want to go there.
If you're gonna do that, why don't we just do our two guys, Willie B and Reddick?
Okay.
F
I could
it.
do that. All right, we got our two dominators. Now we need to figure out what else we're gonna do and where we're gonna find some salary savings. Do we trust Alex Bowman
After last week?
after this whole season?
I mean, but the thing, like, after what he did last week, blocking with whatever 100 laps to go for whatever the hell it was, 12th place or something. Like, I don't know.
20th place. He's ridiculous. All right, let's see.
I mean, I think we could just go straight to the bottom and try to find our bottom feeder.
Okay. I mean, I think for me it's this guy.
All right, yeah, let's do it. Chevys perform well here. Fords suck. So
And then we have 8K per driver. Let's see. So Dinger.
yeah, I don't know if I can get there with starting. Yeah. No, I guess that's okay.
Let's see. Dinger was 12th at Vegas. He was 21st at Kansas, 24th at Charlotte, and 22nd at Michigan. Don't love that.
Yeah.
So Bowman was 3rd at Vegas. It was 15th at Charlotte, and he was 13th at Michigan.
Starting 23rd. I mean, maybe
That's like a 10-spot bump.
All right.
And we are going on Hendrick. I don't know.
Let's do it. Let's do Bowman.
Bowman the Slowman.
Oh, Ty Gibbs.
Tyrone Gibbs.
Got to put him in there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was a smash.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, we get distracted around here. There's too much going on. So we have 8,800 we can spend. Logano, Busher, Blaney, Keselowski, Suarez, Stenhouse.
Do we think Suarez can keep his shit together?
No. Let's see. Suarez. So Suarez was 10th at Vegas. He was 14th at Kansas. He was 27th at Charlotte. But then he was 5th at Michigan.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, Trackhouse has speed.
Yeah, and I guess if Ross has the upper end speed and they figured something out with Suarez in practice.
I mean, obviously they're not just gonna take the speed from Suarez. Yeah.
The other one I think is interesting is Kevin Harvick. Although, can we get to him? No, he's too expensive.
Yeah, but he's bad here. I think his average finish is like 27th or something.
Yeah.
In the next gen car, that is. 20th.
He was good at Vegas, Kansas, and Charlotte.
Was he though, or was he just like a
his
benefactor?
Speed ranking, total speed ranking heat chart per iFantasy race? Harvick was 11th, 13th. I guess he was not really amazing, but he was 11th, 13th, 10th, and then 20th at Michigan.
Yeah,
So,
he's just kind of like, again,
yeah, he's not like a speed demon for sure. Obviously, we don't like him at super speedways.
I mean, you can get real gross.
I like it.
Let's get Chase
gross.
Elliott.
I like Chase Elliott, but like, can if we go Elliott, Reddick, and Byron, I don't know if we can get enough points.
Handcuffing ourselves for if one of them wrecks out, or the likelihood of all of them staying there.
Yeah,
is really not that bad actually when I think about it, because I think it was something. It's like an average of close to 7 top 10 finishers all have started the Kansas races inside the top 10 in the next gen car. So there's not a lot of guys moving from like outside the top 10 into the top 10.
What about Brad K? He wasn't good at Kansas last time, but he was good at Vegas, Charlotte, Michigan.
Well, yeah, because they've brought, the thing is that, okay, so I think RFK and Busher these last 2 weeks have been really hard for me to handicap because they were not good at these types of tracks early in the season. And then all of a sudden, they've found this speed that we didn't think that they had. And yeah, I think Keselowski, if he can continue down the path that he's been going over the last couple of weeks, he's probably going to find a top 10.
Yeah, he's starting close enough. I guess the other person would be Ryan Blaney, who was a top 10 car at Michigan, who won Charlotte, who was kind of outside the top 10 at Vegas and Kansas. But
yes, but at the Vegas race, I don't know if you remember, they looked like shit early, but they made an adjustment late, and he was making his way through the field late.
Yep. And then he ended up wrecking out, right?
I think he got into or maybe a speeding penalty or something, because
he ended up having an issue, but then he ended up working back through the field, but he was still outside the top 10. So
he finished outside the top 10, but he had top 10 speed late in the race.
What did he do in practice?
He wasn't good. That's the thing. Fords are not good here.
No. Yeah, let's see.
That's the problem, is like, you really, if you're going to go for a top 10 on a Ford, you better find the best one of that day.
Yeah.
Because I think it's one Ford every Kansas race in the next gen has found the top 10.
Keselowski was kind of slow. Logano was slow.
But again, Keselowski, we've seen it 2 weeks in a row now, or shit, I don't know, maybe every race this freaking season. he is the most willing driver to go off schedule, hoping for that, random caution to give him the advantage over everybody by staying out longer.
My other question to you, let me see what we can do if I do this. It's gonna be gross if you want to get gross.
I like gross. This is great.
But like Kyle Busch starting 35th and Chase Briscoe, or I was hoping to get even up to like maybe Denny. I guess we could do.
I don't hate Kyle Busch. He
starting 35th. Like I know he doesn't have that. What did he do? Let's see here. So Kyle Busch was fine in practice. He got better, 15, 10, and 6, but obviously not as many cars run. And then in terms of speed rankings, he was 14th at Vegas, 9th at Kansas, 5th at Charlotte, and then slow at Michigan. I think we roll the dice with Kyle Busch, knowing he might not win, but if he shows any sort of speed and can find a top 10, that'd be a really nice result for us.
Yeah, and we talked about this early in the week. This 8 car with Reddick in it last year was fantastic early in the races, but some issue occurred where Reddick wrecked out. So
yep, weird. Nobody would ever guess that. Why would we get
right? Oh, that's funny.
I think this is the lineup. I think we just did it. All right, let's go look at. So for our bet tracker, I have Ryan Blaney as your top forward at 4-1. I have Kyle Larson as a top 3 at plus 175. And I have Larson over Hamlin at plus 102. You had Gibbs on the pole, obviously was fast, but had an issue. You have Byron at 7.5 and Reddick at 9. Both seem very live. And then are these new?
Oh no, I had all those.
Oh, those are all there. Okay. I don't want to make sure I'm not giving out new bets. Byron top 3 plus 225. Gibbs over Bowman, which I like at plus 102, and then Blaney is the top 4 at 4-1. Let's go see where the odds sit now and see what we want to bet. So obviously the top of the board has shifted a little bit. We have Larson as your favorite, 4.5-1. Truex, 4.5-1. Chris Bell, pole sitter, as long as 7-1. Byron, 6.5, as long as 8-1. Denny is down to 6.5, 8-1. And then we'll cut it off at Reddick, who's 7.5, 7, 8, depending on where you shop. So always shop numbers, try and get the best value you can. I guess as we sit here now, who is jumping out to you as a potential buy? Anyone you're willing to get into at this range?
How do you go away from Larson? What is his floor? All things considered, say you remove the possibility of wrecking. What is his floor? A top 3?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's pretty clearly a top 5 car. I think if he gets to the front, much like last week, he'll be impossible to pass. I think he makes sense. I also think Byron at almost double the odds is a great bet too, especially if it's close and you can get twice the odds.
Oh yeah.
He makes. I think those are probably my 2 favorite bets at this point.
Yeah, because it's hard. I mean, again though, Truex, when he has speed, he's fast.
Yeah. Fourth speed rankings at Vegas, 2nd at Kansas, 4th at Charlotte, 1st at Michigan. He's been insanely fast.
Yeah.
I would not fault anybody who goes there. Larson was 2, 3, 8, and 11, so he's gotten a little bit slower, but was fast, really fast at Kansas, really fast at Vegas. A lot of corollary here. So I think it's not our favorite thing to do, but I think the top of the board in terms of outrights is probably where we should be spending the vast majority of our time. No, you're saying no?
No, I'm not gonna do it. I can't do it, man.
Yeah.
It's just so hard. Like,
because
as you scroll down, for instance, okay, Tyler Reddick, What exactly did he do that shouldn't put him in a similar category outside of the uncontrollable things that happen in the final
The
stage of
problem
races?
is he has issues in stage 3 and people are going to be gun shy. So the books can't put him at 5-1, which maybe his true odds should be,
That's what I
because
mean.
they're not
Like,
going to get the money they need.
as far as 10-lap average, who had the fastest in practice? Tyler Reddick. 5-lap average, Tyler Reddick. He didn't run 15 or 20,
Yeah.
but I mean, in qualifying, he qualified 5th. It's not like he qualified 12th or he didn't qualify inside the top 10. And we're talking like hundredths of seconds that separated like 2 through 6.
Right. But we're talking about Larson's right behind him. And if you're telling me it's stage 3 with 10 to go and the front row
Yeah,
is
you're right.
Larson and Reddick, who do you want a piece of? I mean, I get it. You're getting double the odds if you can get 8 or better.
Now, okay, on that point, if Larson is chasing down Reddick, we already saw what Reddick is willing to do by just brake checking
Yeah.
Ryan. And so, I mean, in that case, give me Tyler Reddick, who's willing to do anything apparently to win a race.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. I also think Bubba at
Oh yes,
15 makes a lot of sense, and I'm actually going to add that.
yeah, Bubba. Look, he won here in the 45 car. Clearly, he loves these racetracks. I do think he's probably a little more value in like matchups or placements still, but yeah, 14-1 on a guy who's as successful here, I think make a lot of sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm gonna add. I added Bubba. I'm probably gonna add one of the guys, either Byron or Larson. I wish I had added Larson at 6.5-1 or whatever he was, but I saw what I needed to see. I'm happy with where he's at.
Any interest in the Watermelon Man?
No.
18-1.
No interest. I probably should. I like him a lot, and we're getting a good number on a guy who's was fast in qualifying, but as you mentioned in practice, was not that great. And in terms of mile and a half speed, 8th at Vegas, 7th at Kansas, 26th at Charlotte, and then 10th at Michigan. So he's been fine for 3 of the 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. That team scares me. But like last week, he had a nice performance. He probably got a better result than his day really warranted, but
Well, no, again last week, I think it was he had long run speed, but it was long run speed. Like we needed extended runs for him to do anything, and we
yeah.
just didn't get those.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get the same tire wear this week. So
Yeah, no.
Tyrone 50-1.
Look, I don't hate it.
I think if you
But
want a
like,
wild card, he makes sense. I honestly don't hate Austin Dillon at his price. I know it's
no
Austin
way.
Dillon, but
That
like,
ain't happening.
yeah, you're probably right.
Like,
Trying to talk myself into something over here.
let's be real here, okay?
Yeah,
We're
you're
talking
right.
about Austin Dillon. What does he have? Two career wins, 3 career wins?
Yeah, and like Super
Like,
Speedway Maven.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And right
no.
there, okay, Michael McDowell qualifies 7th, and he's still 80 to 110-1 on an outright. It just goes to show you, like, Fords at this particular track are atrocious.
Yeah.
Which is why, to me, like, I wouldn't even consider betting any of them on an outright, really, because, you know, we just haven't seen it from them.
Yeah, I think Gibbs is the only one that is even a modicum of interest, but I think you need to cut it off at Chastain in terms of outrights. I think Chastain and Bubba are fine. I think your points on Reddick make sense. And then I'm probably going up to Larson or Truex or Byron. Larson is tempting me. All right.
Larson still is like, you know,
Yep.
in a vacuum, it's gonna happen.
Why is Larson stuck in a vacuum? Kyle Busch at plus 110 to top 10. I know he's starting way back. Kind of
Yeah, I don't.
interesting. Do we know if these numbers are...
So I know for a fact Caesars are good. Bet Rivers has their stuff up.
I don't know about DraftKings and
Oh,
FanDuel. It might
wait.
be better just to do this.
Yeah, Bet Rivers only has top 3. Oh, no, wait. Do they? Yeah, they only have top 3s. Yeah,
Okay.
so it looks like the books have clearly transitioned to NFL. So we're getting jobbed over here with NASCAR odds.
Yeah, well, they're going to get like 100 times the money, so they're going to spend 100 times the effort.
It's probably more than 100 times the
Yeah,
money, to be honest.
true. All right. So at what point in the top 10 market are you interested in putting a bet down? Like a Byron minus 170? Is that too long, or do we need to get into like maybe Chase at minus $120?
Ooh. Oh, okay. I don't normally bet. Yeah, I can't do it. I was just gonna say Bubba Wallace minus 120. I mean,
I know he's been a lot more consistent, but I feel like I need to get a little more of a payout. So like a top 5 is probably the worst I can do.
yeah, I mean,
Blaney and Logano, Busher, Harvick. I know the Fords kind of stink. Gibbs at plus
yeah.
160.
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna bet the Gibbs one just because like I talked about it earlier in the week. I didn't add it at the same number, which clearly the books saw the speed that he has. He has top 10 speed in that car. It's just he's gonna have a little bit of a difficulty getting up there, but it's a long race, so I think he's got it in him.
Bowman was slow in practice. He was slow in qualifying, but he is good on these tracks. That number is kind of interesting. He didn't run the initial Kansas race either, which is
Very true.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, but
I think I'm gonna pass.
yeah, the top 10 market in general has kind of taken a shit this season.
Yeah, it really
Just
depends
from
on
a
the
value
track. For
perspective.
Bubba, plus 190 to top 5.
Like even that, I'm not getting
That's
there.
not good enough. What was his top 10?
Minus 120.
Yeah, I'd much rather bet that.
Yeah, and then so I just want to look at this real quick because Bubba is one of only 5 drivers to have top 10s in all 3 races at Kansas in the next gen car. He's got 2 top 5s in that stretch, which have come the last 2 trips here. Both of them, he started 6th and 17th. And then when you look at what he's done this year, yeah, he may only have 7 total top 10s, but he also has a 14th at Phoenix, a 12th at Bristol Dirt, a 12th at Dover, let's see, an 11th at Pocono, a 12th at Richmond, a 12th at Watkins Glen, a 12th at Daytona. Like he's right there at the top 10 almost every single week. So, I mean, you're probably getting what the odds should be for him to top 10 at a track that he's top 10 in it every single time we've come here in this car, you know?
Yeah. What do we think about plus 425 to top 3? I mean, that's a much better payout, but it's also a top 3.
That's a big ask with a lot of people. I'd almost prefer if you think he's going to top 3, go to the top Toyota market. 8-1. See, like
But that means he has to beat Bell and Truex, and he could get a top 3 or a top 5 with not with the winner being a Toyota.
Yeah, but the thing though is like you're not getting. I mean, we keep talking about this. Thanks a lot, Wormy. But you're not getting paid on him though. Like if he gets a top 3 for Bubba Wallace, I'd want almost this number for the top 3 in 8-1. You know?
Yeah, you're right. I'm adding the Bubba top Toyota to go with my Bubba outright. I'm invested in Bubba much more than I thought I would be, but this is the place to do it if I'm going to do it.
And just before we get out of the top Toyota market, I think there's value in just taking Martin Truex Jr. at plus 210 as opposed to betting him plus 450 to win the race.
Yeah.
Because then you open up the possibility that he can finish second.
He could finish fourth.
Yeah, exactly. And you're losing 2 points, which is a lot in the long run, but like you're mitigating a
what's
lot
his
of
top
risk.
5?
It's probably minus money.
Let's see. So to top 5, he's minus 130.
He's one of the favorites. The top 5.
And to top 3, he is plus 160. So you're getting better value on both of those for him to do that. I like that a lot.
I'm tempted to fire on the Reddick top Toyota.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in on him,
yeah,
and you have an
I'm gonna do
outright
it
ticket
again.
on him,
I did it
don't
last
hate
week, and I was, of course, very angry. But
yeah. Top Ford market, Ghana. We got a nice number. I got some value on the Blaney bet, which is nice. 3-1 is still fine. For those that didn't see that conversation, Fords aren't very good here.
they suck.
So there's a potential that if you like any of these Fords to be top 10 cars and potentially a little bit higher, taking them in the top Ford market where you can get 3 or 4-1 on your money might be the move, even if you want to like maybe a little supplemental, like split your bet of 2/3 on top 10, 1/3 on top Ford, but it's much better payout for what's likely a similar result. I still like Blaney at 3-1. I don't know.
I just
Chase
want to go
Briscoe?
back to that.
Chase Briscoe?
There's only been 2 Fords in the 3 races to finish at a top 10 at Kansas. 1 in each of the last 2. So that's why the top Ford market pays way better than betting any of them to top 10.
Chase Briscoe, 50-1.
Hey, why not? If he had the best long run speed, like
I'm doing 1/10 of a unit, but I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, throw a dart on that. Because we saw how bad Penske was after they qualified on pole at Vegas in the spring. Like, they fell like friggin' anvils. So,
yeah, Buescher or Brad K are probably the best bets at this point. But yeah, like you said, Fords have been gross. You're looking for someone to finish between probably 7 and 11 or 12 to be the top Ford. So it's probably best way to go for it. Top Chevy market, Larson. So what about this? Larson is plus 105 to top Chevy. Like we talked about with Truex, that seems like a better bet than him for like top 3 or top 5.
well, let me hold on. So you hold that up. So Larson's top 3 is plus 160.
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah, because we've seen him and Byron battle numerous times.
Yeah, no, that's way better.
Yeah, I would much rather go to the top 3 market.
Byron at plus 310 is kind of interesting. What's Byron's number?
Plus 280.
Yeah, so 310 is kind of nice.
Yeah, I do like that.
Chastain 5-1. Chastain, if you want Chastain, I think you take them to win the race.
Yeah, because he's 16-1. Yeah, I would not bet that.
Yeah,
that 5-1 to top Chevy at all. Because obviously, if Chastain is the best Chevy, either everybody wrecked out or like he's probably winning the race because he's passing Kyle Larson with 2 laps to go.
Yeah,
something.
he's like, if he's top Chevy, he's probably top 2, maybe winning the race. If not, he's right behind like a Truex or a Bell or a Hamlin or something.
Yeah, and then so Chastain's top 3 is plus 380.
Yeah. I like the 5-1 if you like Chastain.
Yeah, I would.
But you could also the top 3 could hit with Larson or Byron winning. So
Yeah.
it's just I think the Chevy market is very top heavy, and so taking a little bit of a wild card that doesn't make a lot of sense there.
Yeah.
Let's look at some matchups. Hopefully they have
Oh.
some for us to look at. Is there anything else here before I move on to matchups that you want to look at?
Oh no, I found a matchup I am
Oh, I can't
smashing.
wait. I can't wait. All right, we got Kyle Busch versus Bubba Wallace. Oh, did you hear what Derek Yoder said on the pod on Wednesday?
Huh.
Apparently Caesars has poll bets like head-to-head matchups.
Oh yeah, so when we were looking at it, I actually went back and looked when we were chatting about it.
Uh-huh.
When we were chatting about matchups on when we recorded Wednesday, the matchups that Caesars had posted were not race matchups. They were
Oh,
actual
they were for the
qualifying
poll.
matchups.
All right, well, we'll have to remember that for next time because I think that's kind of fun, especially there's guys that you think can qualify well, and you can get a decent price on them. So we have Blaney versus Logano, Reddick at plus 130 versus Marty Party. No,
Ooh. I do like that.
but once again, it may be a better top Toyota bet if you like him that much.
Yeah, just because like it's hard to
Busher over Chastain if you think Chastain's going to have a bad day. William
again,
Byron
Fords
over
suck.
what?
Fords suck here.
I am taking William Byron over Christopher Bell. It's on my short list for potential best bet of the week.
Oh, here we go. We're sweating a live Cal team total first half on a 51-yard field goal attempt.
No way it's going in. No way.
Auburn
What's
is
the
trying to
score?
ice the kicker, by the way.
What's the
And
score?
no, it's 10-7 Cal with 2 seconds to go in the first half. Yeah,
Come
good
on,
luck.
Auburn. I need like 21 more points from you.
Yeah, so the matchup I found, so as you see on Caesars, Logano versus Blaney. Blaney is minus 120. Over at DraftKings, Blaney is minus 105 in this same matchup. So
Smash.
smashing that for sure.
Smash.
And our normal go-to for these types of things, Bet Rivers, they don't even have matchups.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
You know who I haven't checked in a while is oh, never mind. I was gonna say FanDuel, but all they have is outrights.
Logano plus 116 against Chastain. FanDuel has Larson as plus that. Does this FanDuel can't he made it?
Yeah, of course he made it. Oh, dude, I'm on fire tonight.
FanDuel must not be up to date.
Oh yeah, no. All FanDuel has is outrights.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Holding on the kicking team.
So the field goal comes back.
Yeah, son of a poop. That's
Reddick
it.
minus 110 versus Christopher Bell.
Yeah, again, we talked about I'd rather get plus money on that.
Well, sure. I'd rather get like 100 to 1 on it, but doesn't mean I'm going to get it. All right.
It is interesting that you could get plus money on Byron versus Larson.
I'm really tempted to do that.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact of where they're starting, and it's going to be hard for Byron.
I guess my question is there a world where Byron gets 4th or 5th or 6th, isn't the top Chevy, and still beats Kyle Larson? I mean, obviously, can it happen? Of course.
Unless Kyle Larson wrecks, I really don't see that happening.
Right. That's kind of where my head's at, and that's why I'm not going to add it to the card.
Yeah, because we talk about it all the time. Like, you cannot play for bad things to happen. And as far as equipment goes and just where they should be running, Kyle Larson is a top 3 car almost every single week.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'd much rather bet Byron top 3 at plus 280 than
Damn, that's what it's up to? I got it at 225 early in the week.
yeah, plus 280 is kind of nice. Let's go
Yeah,
back
actually.
here. Let's go to here. Yeah, 280 at Caesars seems like a really good number. Bell is plus 285 at DraftKings. I guess that's old numbers. Never mind.
Plus 280. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was top 3.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else we should look at, or should we just recap our card, give the people a bet, and get out of here?
Ooh, we got stage winners too? No, I'm just kidding. I have no interest in getting into that.
It seems like a real crapshoot. I mean, I guess stage 1 is somewhat reasonable. Get to the front, win it. Byron at 8-1.
Yeah, so I'm looking back during the spring.
About 10-1.
Yeah, so during the spring, the pole sitter, William Byron, because he spun, he didn't even finish inside the top 10. But when you go back,
I mean, Denny started 8th and won stage 1 in the spring race. Truex started 8th, or started 4th and got there, and then Ty Gibbs was 7th, was 3rd.
I don't hate the Bubba Wallace call because he needs playoff points more than anything.
I guess my question with him is there a potential that he wins stage 2 trying to get playoff points, and then
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully he's still 10-1. Yeah, I don't know. I'm good off all that. I think that, you think there's bets and then there's like lottery tickets, and I feel like that's a lot more in the
That's a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Shall we recap the card, give the people our best bet, and get out of here?
Let's do it.
A very under control card for me. So hopefully things go swimmingly. As I mentioned, Blaney top 4, Kyle Larson top 3, and Larson over Hamlin were my 3 bets from the before practice and qualifying. I added Bubba Wallace on an outright at 15-1 and top Toyota at 8-1. I added Chase Briscoe as a top Ford, a lot more of a lottery ticket than a
love
justifiable bet. And then my best bet is going to be William Byron over Christopher Bell. I will look for more opportunities to fade Christopher Bell. But I'm going to get reckless this week. Willie B is just a freaking top 5 machine. And Christopher Bell is, if he wins, good for him. But if he doesn't, I should be cashing that bet. Brian has Byron and Reddick on his outright card. He has a Byron top 3. Gibbs over Bowman. Blaney as a top 4. Gibbs to top 10 at plus 160. I feel like I need to add that. But I don't want to harsh your mellow. Reddick as top Toyota, and Blaney over Logano at DK minus 105. Brian Twining, what is your best bet here on a Saturday night?
Is there any doubt? Ryan Blaney over Joey Logano.
Death, taxes, and Blaney over Logano. That is how we roll here at the Angle of Pursuit. Go cash some bets, win all the money on DraftKings, and we'll talk to you next week.